In this video, we're going to create dedicated create and update post model in Vue.js. We're going to implement updating and deleting of the post and spend several minutes debugging why Vue.js Watch didn't work. Finally, we figured it out and got a great lesson. Now let's implement updating of the post. Basically, in the post card, I'm going to create the drop-down button, 3-dot drop-down button right here. And when we click, we're going to see edit menu item. And when we click on this edit menu item, I want the modal pop-up to be displayed, inside which we're going to have the post details. And from there, we should be able to update the post. So I need two components right now. First, we're going to need drop-down. Second, modal. And I'm going to go to the headless UI because this is what we are going to use, what we are already using. Here's the example of dialog, which we can use. But where is the drop-down? Menu, drop-down. I think this is it. Okay, this is what we want. Let's go into Vue, and I'm going to go into code. And we have this menu button. Actually, here's the menu. Then we have this menu button, we have this transition and menu items. And let me get the whole example, copy everything. And first of all, let's commit all the changes what we previously made. Now, this is all related to a post creation. Okay, so let's give it a proper commit message. Implement creating posts. Okay, cool. Now we are in the post item, and this is the avatar. This is the post header, basically. Let's have a look in the design. We need to put this in the header. Okay. So this is the username, this is the group, if the group is available. Flex items center. Okay, what I'll do right now is that I'm going to create another div right here, and there's going to be the 3-dot. Let's just write 3 dots here. It's going to be the drop down, but it should be on the right side. So I'm going to give it a class justify self end. I think this is the class. If not, I'm going to have a look in the Title1CSS documentation. Justify self end. It should move. That should move this to the right. Oops, we need to log in. Okay, let's inspect this. We have display flex, justify self end. Okay, it doesn't work, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Let me wrap this the image as well as the title and the date into its own div. I'm going to give this div flex and items center, and I'm going to paste the image and the post title, and then right here I'm going to give this one, it has flex item center, and it's going to have justify between. Okay, now we're going to also increase the gap, so I will put this gap to right here on this, which is the parent of the thumbnail and the post title. Okay, now here we have these 3 dots. Now let's copy this headless UI drop-down code, and I'm going to paste this right here, but we have much more than just markup. Let me copy all the script related things. Okay, and we need to put this right here. We have this archive icon, duplicate icon. Let's remove all the icons. Actually, we don't need them. If we need, we can import this from the hero icons, basically. and scroll down below. Here's the template, and that is what we copied. So I'm going to remove this template. There's ending template tag as well. I'm going to remove. Let's format the code nicely, and let's have a look. Okay, we don't see. Justify self end is not necessary. I can remove this, but I think I'm going to remove this entire wrapper div. Okay, we have some warnings. What warnings do we have? Edit icon. Okay, edit icon does not exist. And let's actually remove all the icons. This chevron down icon, I think this is coming from the hero icon, so we can leave this. Then we have the transition, and we have the menu items, we have the edit icon, and so on. Instead of edit icon, I'm going to use pencil icon. Auto completion. Yeah. We see this pencil icon. I can use this pencil icon here. I'm going to remove this active. Let's remove this text file at 400 as well, and edit. Okay, let's leave all these classes for now, and I'm going to remove other menu items. This is duplicate menu item. This is another group. I think we need one menu item for delete. So let's duplicate this, and that's going to be delete, and let's import trash icon, and I'm going to use this trash icon here. However, this is another group. We have a look in the headless UI again. So this is first group, this is another group, and we have delete as well, which has trash icon, by the way. So I can delete this group completely, and this is the delete menu item, which I can delete also because I have now two buttons. One menu item for delete, second is for edit. Okay, if I save this and reload, I should not see that much warnings. Actually, I don't see any warnings, but I also don't see this button. Why? Because it has position fixed. Okay, let's remove this position fixed. Maybe I can completely remove this div and just leave the menu. Okay, now it makes sense. And here we see edit and delete, looking good. We are going to need, instead of options, I'm going to have the three dots. So in the hero icons, I can search for dots or settings. Okay, what icons do we have? Ellipsis. Okay, this is ellipsis vertical. Okay, so I'm going to import now ellipsis vertical icon, and I'm going to use that right here. Options, we can delete this. We're going to have ellipsis vertical icon, and I'm going to remove all the CSS classes and only leave W4 and H4. Let's have a look. We have these three dots. Actually, I'm going to increase this into 5, but I'm going to remove all the classes from this menu button. Okay, let's remove all of them. We see this 3 dot. On clicking on them, we see this edit and delete, which is cool. What we can probably add is give it width of like 8, H of 8. Let's give it rounded full, and on mouse over, we're going to give it a BG black without like transparent black with a 20% transparency. And this is how it looks like. We can give it also transition and flex and items center and justify center, so that this icon to be in the center. Okay, this is it, and maybe this 20 is too much. We can give it also 10. 10 is going to be enough. Maybe even 5. Okay, cool. When I click on this, we see this edit and delete. Awesome. Is there any width on this menu item? Width 56. Okay, that's too much. We can reduce this into 32, maybe. Okay, cool. In terms of colors, basically, we're going to choose something like blue because we are always using blue colors everywhere right here. So we're going to have the same blue color. Which blue variant do we have here? It is actually Indigo 600. So let's search for violet. So I'm going to find all the violet word and replace it with Indigo. Replace all. Have a look. Okay, now we have this Indigo colors. Okay, cool. So we have the drop down. Awesome. Now when we click on this edit, we're going to bring the dialog in which we're going to edit the post. Let's copy the dialog HTML. But I'm thinking right now maybe we need to commit all the changes what we made. Actually, we haven't completed anything, so let's leave it. But I want the dialog to be I want to be in a separate component. I don't want it to be in the in here. So how I'm going to do this? Okay, let me create a new component inside the app folder, and I'm going to call this post dialog. Okay, or post modal. Let's give it modal. Now let's copy everything and paste that here. Okay. It has a button right here to open the dialog. So if I go in the post item and somewhere right here, I'm going to use this post modal. Then it opens immediately. If I click on the button, it opens immediately. First of all, we're going to link opening of the dialog by clicking on this edit button. Right now, nothing is actually clickable. I think because that dialog overlays everything because it has position fixed. Anyway, this is not a problem. Here we have this position fixed, and that's for this button, which calls open modal. So if I get this open modal, I'm going to delete this actually. And what does this open modal do? It says the is open, that value equals true. Is open is a ref. Okay, what I want is to implement a two-way data binding from this post item into the post modal for modal show height. Okay. And I'm going to also pass the post modal to this, the actual post item to this. So in the post modal, I'm going to define props. Let's define props. We're going to have post, which is going to be object, and required needs to be true. And we are going to also have modal value, which is going to be Boolean. And I'm going to define also emits with update modal value. And whenever we call close modal, I'm going to emit update model value with value false. Define emit. I'm going to assign this into an emit. Okay, and whenever we call open model, we can set this open. We actually don't call open model from here. And what we are going to do, just use that model value I'm thinking use that model value and calculate what's going to be is open for that. Yeah, I have implemented something similar in one of my projects, and I'll try right now to remember in which project I did this. Let me check my GitHub. And once I find this, I'm going to explain it and it's going to be clear. I think I did this in the Laravel File Manager project, which I did for Free Code Camp. Yeah, this is the same stack project basically. Laravel, Vue.js, Inertia. Okay, we are interested in the resources, JS, in the components, confirmation dialog. Let's check this confirmation dialog. Props show model has a show flag here. Okay, I think this is not the one. We have error dialog and we have modal. I think this modal should be it. First of all, it is also teleported into body, which is a useful thing. We should probably do this. Then I'm interested in, we're looking at the props show. If it's show, we're emitting show. No, this is not actually what I wanted. We have props show. What happens when we click cancel? Close. What does this close do? It emits close. And basically parent, probably the parent component is modifying this props show on that. Okay, I think there's a better solution, and probably I have done this in my e-commerce course. So Laravel e-commerce. Okay, let's check my Laravel Vue e-commerce. Okay, let's go in the backend. That backend, by the way, is a wrong name. That is a Vue.js admin panel folder. But I called this mistakenly backend. My thoughts were that we had the front end, the client side, website side, and the backend, and I mean admin when I say backend. So this is the admin part. Vue.js, we have, it's a pure Vue.js without inertia. And in the components, we have some core here, charts, custom input spinner, toast. Okay, this is not the one. I swear I had this done in one of my latest projects. Let's check the customers, and we have the customer view. Now that's probably the inner page. We have categories, we have category model. What's going on here? Define props model value. Yeah, this is it. This is exactly what I was looking for. Basically, we have now props model value, and we have this emit of the model value as well. And the show is a computed property. When we set the show, we're calling update model value. Okay, but when we get the show, we're getting the props model value. This is the key right here. So I'm going to copy this part, and just put this right here. The computed needs to be obviously imported. Okay, I'm going to create also const props. And this is show, so I can use show instead of isOpen. Let me search where isOpen is used. I can replace this with show. I can delete this, and I can set this show value equals false. And whenever I do this, it emits to the parent as well through this setter. Okay. Awesome. Now, if I go in the post item, I need to pass the post, which will be my current post, which I have accepted through props. So here I have the post, and I'm going to also provide vModal show edit modal. Okay, we're going to define a ref. Const show edit modal is a ref. By default it is false. Let's import this ref, and whenever we click on this edit, where is it? Right here, scroll down below, here's the edit. Whenever we click on this, we're gonna call show edit modal equals true. Okay, so let's test this now. Edit, the modal is displayed. Is there any error? Okay, let's reload the entire page. Yeah, okay, we don't have any error. That was previous error. Okay, good. Now in the post modal, we actually get the post, and we also need this teleport into body. So let's define teleport to body. So the modal actually should be rendered inside the body tag. And this will help us to avoid some CSS issues in the future. So you see that? Headless UI portal root. And inside there we should have, where's the actual, this is it, the actual dialog content. Okay, cool. Now let's print the entire post, what we accept here. This is the dialog title, and we're going to call this update post. And this is the actual content, I assume. And that's going to be the entire post. Let me just print the post. Click on edit. Okay, this is my post. Okay, good. This got it, thanks probably should be submit. And I think right now we just need to render the text area to update the body of the post. So here we're going to have input text area. We're going to have vModal to be post.body. And what other things do we need? If I go in the create post, search for input text area, maybe we need these two CSS classes. Okay, let's have a look. This is our text area. Let's remove this post. Update post. Okay. The title is update post. That's good. But I want also to show the current user avatar and maybe the post title. Now we need to listen to the submit button and send that to the backend. But again, like before I do this, I want to slightly change maybe that the UI of this model. Okay, let me just do small rework on that. Okay, so this is my dialog. Then we have somewhere there should be rounded. Dialog panel. Okay, this is which has rounded to Excel. I'm going to remove it, just leave rounded. Then we have this dialog title. Okay, I'm going to remove this padding on this dialog panel completely. Okay, then I'm going to add this padding Y2, padding X3 on this dialog title. Okay, this is the title, which has also a leading 6, which I'm going to reduce into 5 or maybe 3. Well, it doesn't change. No, this is the line height. This text LG, I can just remove this. Okay, then we have this main content area, and I'm going to give this padding 3. Then we have this footer area. I'm going to give this also padding Y2, padding X3. This margin top 4, I can remove that. And basically before this text area, I'm going to also display the current user information, who is the owner of the post. And that's going to be very similar to how we render in the post item. That part. Okay, if I just copy and paste this here, we have post user avatar, we have post username and post group. Everything should be good. Okay, yeah, this is it. However, the date is not necessary in this case when we are updating the post. And also, I don't like the code duplication. So what I will probably do is create new component. I'm going to call these user post user header. Maybe not the ideal name, but let's have it. And we should accept post here. We are basically outputting the username. We are outputting the user avatar, and we are checking also if the group exists on the post. And then we are using that. So let's define props post needs to be type of object. Then in the post item, we're going to just use post user header. We're going to just provide post in the post item, and that still leaves the same UI what we have so far, which is cool. And we're going to use now the same component in the post modal, just like this. If I hit on edit, here we see that the time needs to be removed. I'm going to add one more prop, and I'm going to call this show time. By default, that's going to be true, and it's going to have type of Boolean, default true. And where's the time? So on that small, I'm going to add if show time. But from our post modal, I'm going to pass show time to be false. Now time is gone from here, but it is displayed here. And we are going to add class margin bottom 3 on that, so that we have this distance. And I want to adjust this header also. This I want to increase this padding x3 into something like 4, maybe 4 here and 4 here as well. And maybe increase this padding y as well into 3. And let's give small background color to, if I remove this leading, doesn't do anything. PG gray 100. We have this header. I want a close button here as well. In the post item, we define this drop down and the menu button. So this menu button classes are identical what I need for the close button. So I will define a button here with these classes. Okay, and then I'm going to import from, we're going to import some icon from the hero icons. And we're going to import times. Let's import this from 24. Okay, we don't see this. What is it called? Like times, close, X mark. Okay, X mark icon. And let's use this X mark icon right here. Give it W4, H4, and that should be it. Okay, then we're gonna give this dialog title flex and items center and justify between. Okay. What about this padding? It has also margin, which is not necessary, so I'm going to remove this margin. And I'm going to increase the margin bottom. Okay, so this is my user information, and this is my post, and I'm going to hit the submit, and I will put that submit button on full width, and I'm going to actually use the create post button styles. So these styles. And I'm going to make it on full width, W full. Okay, now I like this. Yeah, this should close the dialog. So when we click on that button, we're going to set show equals false. Awesome. To be honest, I'm loving this. Now, if I make some changes right here and hit the submit button, it should trigger the update. Now, there are two ways to handle the update. First, when we click right now on submit, it actually closes the modal, but that should be submit. So we're gonna create new function. Submit. Okay. Then there are two ways to handle the submit. One is like we have done this before, do this through inertia's form way, and basically make a post request on the form. The second is to do this through custom HTTP request, maybe Axios, for example. Okay, I'm going to try to stick with the traditional form approach whenever this is possible, but at some point I have a feeling that I will need Axios to install in the project and use that as well. And I will explain why I think so. Okay, on submit, let's actually define the form. Do we have the form? we accept the post. Well, we can create the form here. Const form equals use form, and this use form needs to be imported from Inertia.js Vue 3. And what does this use form need? It needs the ID of the post, so we're gonna provide the post ID. It needs body of the post, post.body, and for now we can leave everything else, but that post is coming from props post, so we're gonna have props.post ID and body. Then on the form I'm gonna call post. I'm gonna provide the root, and there's gonna be post.update root, which doesn't exist, as I know it doesn't exist. So let's duplicate this. It's going to be post colon post, and there's going to be put request method. There's going to be update and update here as well. Now let's implement this update. Excuse me. If you're watching this and if you're enjoying this, the single best thing what you can do right now is to hit the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, then the best thing will be to like the video, because that really helps me and gives me the motivation to keep creating such free content. Sorry for interruption, please go to the video. If we open this update post request as well, we're gonna change this authorize, okay? At the moment, I should not be able to change someone to update someone else's post. And this is something which in the future will need to be changed. Okay, the admin users might be able to update someone else's post as well, if the post is specifically kind of group post. Okay, so let me write to do here, and maybe change later, something like this. And so basically I'm going to return false from here if the post does not belong to the current user. Okay, so I'm going to get the current user from this. This is actually a request, so I'm going to get this from this user. And I'm going to also have the ID, right? The ID for the post which I'm trying to update. Now I remember one thing which I have done in this e-commerce project as well. Let me try to find this out, and I'm going to explain. In HTTP requests, we have, this is auth, this is login request. Okay, I don't need that. Product request, was that product request? No, actually I did this in another project, and that was the file manager project. Okay, where is that? In my repositories, Laravel file manager, app, HTTP requests, and we have a couple of requests, and parent ID base request. What is this is doing? Okay, so inside authorize, I get the parent ID and save this into a variable called parent, and then I'm checking if this parent is owned by the authenticated user. If it's not owned by, then I'm returning false. So I want something similar here, actually. So I get the user, I have the user ID, and I'm going to get the post. Okay, so my post will be post where ID equals to the input ID, and I'm going to provide another where that's going to be user ID. User ID of the post is my user ID. We can actually use this auth ID as well. Here I'm using the auth facade, and I think both will do the same thing. In this specific case, we'll just return the ID of the user, and I'm going to call first then on this. So I'm trying to get the post by input ID in the user. And if the post doesn't exist, I can delete this. If the post doesn't exist, I can return false. So basically I'm going to do a double exclamation mark post. So if the post exists, it's going to return true. If the post doesn't exist, this is going to return false. And this will give me guarantee that I'm always getting the post by the ID and also by the user who is the owner of the post. And by the way, user ID, yeah, I thought that this was called created by, in which case we would need to replace this user ID with a created by, but the actual column is called user ID, so we have this correctly implemented. So this authorize is there. And in terms of rules, we can simply copy and paste these rules from store post request like this. Oops. Here we go. And prepare for validation. This is the user ID basically does not change, so we don't need this here. We get the body and the user ID in the post controller, and we are just going to call post update providing request validated. This should do the update, but what are we going to do after the update? Probably we're going to redirect user back again, and now let's see how this will work. Click on update. Let's provide some text, updated, hit on submit. Okay, something didn't work. Post parameter is required for road post update. That's correct. If we go in the post modal, we're going to provide the form or post. Yeah, this road requires post. Yeah, that's going to be props.post, I think. Let's go to the network, click on submit. Let's see, post method is not supported for road post 5. That should be put, that's correct. It should be put. Okay, let's try this again, hit on submit. Undefined property, auth manager ID. Where is this coming from? Auth ID, okay. That was a mistake. Instead of auth, this is auth manager. Okay, so we're going to use auth facade ID. Auth ID, like this. Click on submit. It seemed that it worked. The modal still was left opened, but we see updated here. If I reload, this is updated. So what we are going to do is just listen to on success here. And when this happens, we're going to close the modal. It will be show.value equals false. Like this. Let's edit. One more line. Hit on submit. That got updated. Now, let's try to update the second form. I'm going to scroll down below. Click edit right here. First of all, we're going to see that we have very small height text area. But as soon as we type something, the text area height is adjusted. Okay. And that happens because we are actually listening in this text area component on input event, and on input we are adjusting the height, but we don't listen on mounted event so that to adjust the height on mounted event as well, which I think we need to do. So I'm going to open input text area, and we're gonna listen on mounted hook. And basically on mounted, I'm gonna copy this part, and maybe we can extract this into its own function. Fn adjust height, put this here, and I'm gonna call adjust height from on input change and from on mounted as well. Let's format the code. Okay, that's good. Now if I edit that, the height is adjusted, okay? And I type something in front of it. And by the way, pay attention that when I start typing something behind, the post is also updated, which is not correct. If I now cancel this, this still gets updated. Okay, this is not what we want. We are going to take the copy of the post and we're going to work on that copy right here. So what I will do is inside post modal. Okay, let me think. We have this post, which is actually a prop. Then we take, then we use here the post body. Okay, we're using the prop post body. Okay, so this is what we need to adjust. There are two ways. We can take that post unmounted and create this form basically unmounted, or we can constantly watch the post variable, and whenever the post variable is changed, we're going to update our form as well. The most efficient way will be to do this unmounted, because we're going to do this only once. If we're going to do this on watch hook and just watching at the variable when it is changed, probably it's going to happen a lot. Anyway, let's try to do this on mounted hook. On mounted, let me just print what is the post. And that's actually props post. Let's go to the console, and I'm gonna edit this. Okay, this is the problem. We don't have on mounted. The component, whenever the component is mounted, okay, now here's the problem. Every post item has its own modal. This is also probably not ideal thing. If we open post item, every post item has modal inside, right? So if we're going to have 100 post items loaded right here, there will be 100 post modal components, and we might not need none of them. I think the best way will be to just take that post modal, take out from here, okay, and also we have to adjust a couple of parts like show edit modal. Okay, first I cut the post modal, and I need to open post list. Okay, and here I have these dummy variables which I don't use anymore, but still I'm going to leave because I'm interested in this attachments part, what structure I have exactly in the attachment. So I'm just going to collapse them, and I'm going to put my modal right here. Okay, and from the post item, let's remove this post modal and chevron down icon. We can remove them. And let's search for this show edit modal. And instead of setting this into true, I'm going to call a function called open edit modal. Now let's define that function here, open edit modal, and we are going to emit on edit, or maybe just edit click. And we are going to pass the post. Actually, we have this post, so we can simply pass this props post. Let's define props here. So we get the props post, and whenever someone clicks edit, we're going to emit edit click event. And we need to define emits here as well. We're going to have emit click. Let's create a variable emit like this. Okay, this show edit modal is something we need to remove from here, but we need this in the post list. So I will define right here, and I'm going to also define an object which will be edit post. Now I'm going to pass edit post right here, and we have the show edit modal as well. And then I am listening to this post item edit click in this way, and I'm going to call the function called open edit modal. Okay, let's define this function here, open edit modal. We are going to accept post here, and then I'm going to set edit post dot value will be the post as an argument, and I'm going to also set show edit modal dot value equals true. Okay, now let's have a look, clear the network, the console, reload the page, and we see this only once. Okay, this is the mounted hook, which is called only once, and this is how it should be because we have now this post modal only once. But pay attention that the mounted hook is already triggered, but later when we click edit, the mounted will not be called anymore. So probably we need to listen to watch. So let me define right here watch. We're gonna watch to props dot post. This is the callback. Let's actually import the watch. Is it imported? Yes, it is imported. Okay, so watch, we get the callback, and we can provide some options as well, such as deep to be true. Whenever the props post is changed, I'm going to print something. Let's say changed. Okay, now if I click edit, I don't see changed, by the way. Why? Why I don't see changed? This watch, maybe it needs this string. Okay, we're gonna okay, what's that? Invalid watch source. Props post. A watch source can only be getter, effect function, a ref, a reactive object, or an array of these types. Okay, it looks like we cannot add a watch on props post. Which is strange. Let me actually print my props here. What are they? Let's reload the page. We have some error. Let's just comment the watch part so that the warning should be gone. We have another warning, props attributes class were passed to component but could not be automatically inherited because component renders fragment or text root nodes. Okay, what is this? Extraneous non-prop attributes class where passed to component but could not be automatically inherited. Okay, let's check. In the post list we have two components. Is that coming from the post list? I think we are using post list, and I think this is the problem. Okay, in the post list we are passing the class, but we actually have two components. That's why it cannot add the class to this post list. What if I put this right inside the overflow auto so that we can have only one element, and I reload the page? Now the warning is gone. If I click on edit, the model is still displayed. However, I want to listen when the post is changed. That post, whenever that is changed, and that is changed basically in many cases. Actually, I'm gonna give inside the getter true so that the model is always visible. There are no fixable elements inside the okay, what's that? Post user header. Let's just return this into props model value. Right now I have a feeling that I don't know what I'm doing. So the problem is that I want to listen to the props post, and I want to create a copy of the props post, give this copy into my text area right here, the body from the copy, and whenever that is updated, it's going to only update the copy, and if I submit that, then the actual post will be updated. If I cancel that, the copy will be cancelled, and that's going to be it. So I want some way. I'm going to define right here form. That's going to be use form here. We're going to have ID. Let's give it null, and body to be null. Okay, then I'm going to use my form body right here. Now my main question is that to take the props post and put this inside form body. How I'm going to do this? Let's reload the page. I click on edit. We have some error. Invalid prop type check failed for prop model value. Expected string. Okay, it expected string, but we gave null. So we just change this body into an empty string. I click on edit. There are no warnings, but this is not taken. And again, if I go back and listen to props post, we get the following error. Okay, I want to copy this and ask ChatGPT for help. Basically, in Vue.js 3, I want to watch to props.object, but I get the following error or warning. Let's ask for help. Which function expects a reactive object, ref, or getter effect? Okay, this is clear. What I'm going to do? Watch the ref, props. Okay, property name. So it suggests me to watch to the entire property name. You can also watch the entire object if needed, but that doesn't work. Props post. Okay, the last one doesn't work, and I'm gonna still try this. No, it does not work. Let's just remove this. Maybe we need to just provide immediate true. Maybe changed. Okay, this is called once. If I click edit here, then it is not called anymore. Yeah, when it just prints changed. What's the props post? I'm going to reload the page. It prints changed and the props post is nothing. It's an empty object. Now if I click edit here, I expect another changed to be printed here, which is not printed. Okay, watching single property is also possible, but I'm gonna try on updated. Let's try on updated hook first. Updated. Okay, updated hook is not triggered also. I want to watch to the entire object, but the second approach does not work. Let's see if this helps, or maybe we can find some of the solution. Okay, this is already something. If we turn our post into reactive, then we can watch to that. This is interesting. Let's try to convert our post into reactive. Let's import reactive. We have props post, we have this reactive post, and then we can watch to reactive post. On updated, I can remove that. Let's see. Changed is there. Now let's click on edit. No, it still does not work. Okay, so now this is the case when in a real world you have some problem you don't know how to fix yet, but you have to fix. Okay, I'm gonna try simplest solution right now and just watch on the post body. Okay, even I tried to just comment out this reactive post, and maybe I can just watch props post body. Let's see if that works. We don't see changed. Let's listen as a string. Okay, nothing works. Maybe I'm not doing something correctly. Is the props body changed at all? When I click the edit button, it changes edit post value equals the post. So if I print edit post whenever we click the edit button and have a look. Then the edit post is given in the post modal, so that should be changed. So I click on the edit post. It has some value. Let me just print the edit post dot value. So this is my post. It has body text test. Actually, let's now click on the second one. Okay, this has body something. Okay, it looks like it is changing. Now I need to listen to like ID change, for example. Even ID change will be enough. If props post. Okay, let's revert this reactive post, and maybe we can listen to reactive post ID change like this. This is something else. I can delete this. And it doesn't trigger change. Really, seriously, like nothing's working. Nothing is working. We need to find some solution. Think. What are we going to do? Let me just Google, first of all, Vue.js 3 watch props object change. ChatGPT wasn't able to help. Is there any accepted answer, first of all? Okay, this looks good. If you take a look at the watch typings here, let's open this in a new tab. It makes it clear the first argument of watch could be an array, function, or ref. Having it a function is kind of promising. Okay, props selected. This is awesome. Your callback was only called once. Okay, let's read this because I think we're going to learn something great. Props passed to the setup function are a reactive object, likely by read-only reactive. Its properties are getters, so what you are doing is passing the value of the getter as the first argument. What is this guy doing first? Very large question. Let's find the watch section. What is he watching? Props selected. Okay, this is what he's watching. Okay, I think changing this into props, into callback, should work, but I just want to read. So what you are doing is passing the value of the getter as the first argument of watch, string initial in this case, because Vue2 watch API is used under the hood and same function exists in Vue 3. You are effectively trying to watch non-existing property with name initial on your component instance. Okay, that I think makes sense. If you open this post modal, props post does not actually exist, or it is kind of empty when this code is executed, because this modal is given into the list and this edit post is actually ref, an empty object. Okay, and that empty object is not changed. So what we need to do is change this into callback function, hopefully, and props.post, return props.post from here. And I'm going to also try to remove this immediate and deep true and just have a look if this is going to work. And this reactive post can be removed. Now let's have a look. Click on edit, changed. Look at this. It got printed, changed. Let's close this. Click on another one. We see changed here. This is awesome. And now what we can do is just form.id equals props post id, and form.body equals props post body. Let's remove this changed now, and let's have a look. I can click on edit. Okay. Let's return this changed. And we are using form body here. Let's just print entire form as well. Okay. It is not assigned. Now we see body is test. Now we see it here as well. But on the first time, now it is working. Let me remove this form. Okay, strange. Now it is working. Okay, if this is working, we are good. And that's a good lesson. Always try to learn things, learn new things. And always try to make research to find the best solutions out there. So this is good, but I am not still taking, I think, yeah, So let me explain. So when I type 1 here, I expected there would be the update in the background as well, but we get the actual post and assign it each property into new variable called form ID and form body. So we don't modify the post which is in the background, we are just modifying the new one. If I click on close right here, this one is not get updated. However, if I hit the submit in this case, I will just remove this form. We already have form defined here, and I'm just gonna submit, send a put request with the, okay, let me think. We can send the props post, actually we can send even ID, props post ID. We just need to pass ID right here. So if I click on edit, modify this, go to the network and click on submit, this is working. If I scroll down below, I see 111 here. Okay, the only downside is that if I scroll down below and edit this, test 2, click on submit, I am scrolled at the top, but I think there is a solution in Inertia for this. I remember once I read that part of documentation. If I search for scroll, here we see scroll management, scroll resetting, scroll preservation. I think we can provide preserve scroll true when we submit. So there should be this preserve scroll true right here when we submit the form. Now let's test this. I can scroll down below. I'm gonna edit this and update this into 3, hit and submit, and look at this. My scroll was preserved and I get the update right here. If I click on edit again, change something and click on cancel, it doesn't get updated. click on submit, it does get updated and the scroll is preserved. This is cool, really cool. In terms of the date right here, I think we are displaying the post create date, and I think we should be outputting last updated date. So in the post item, I'm going to search for created it, or I think we have this post user header, and there should be this post created it, updated it. I'm going to change this into update date. Now we see that the time is current time, and if I modify this into test 4, hit on submit, the time gets changed as well. Okay, after some struggle, like a half an hour struggle, we're good, in good position, and we have implemented updating the post. Now let's commit the changes what we made so far. And we did a bunch of changes. Okay, starting from the post controller, we implemented the update. This is good. This is related to update. We actually created the post modal component and input text area, modified slightly. And we have this new route as well for the update. And this is cool. Okay, implement post update. Cool. Now let's implement post delete. And let's go into web, and I'm going to define the route. We're going to make delete request on the post. I'm going to change this into import, alt and enter, replace qualifier with an import, and we should see this import right here. And that should be destroy, post destroy. If we go in the destroy, we get the post right here. The only thing we need is to check if the current user has permission to destroy that post. And again, I'm going to leave a to do right here, just like I left in this update post request, because right now we are only modifying our own post, but later if the post is posted inside a group, other users like the admin users of this group might be able to delete my post as well. Okay, let me get the ID for the user. That's going to be auth ID, and if post, let's do like this. If the user can update the post, but using the can method basically is more discussion of the RBAC, like role-based RBAC, role-based access control. And in this case, I'm going to do it simpler. So let me just do this right now. If the post user ID does not equal to the ID, I'm going to return response. We can return a message like you don't have permission. Let me put this in the double quotations. You don't have permission to delete this post. And 403 will be the status code. In other case, we're going to simply call post delete, which will use the soft delete functionality, because on the post we have the soft deletes. We are not actually deleting that. Okay, now let's go into post item component, and we're going to listen to delete. And just like we're listening to edit, open edit modal. Okay, in this case, I'm just going to call delete post, which doesn't exist. And let's define that. Delete post we're going to obviously show the confirmation dialog. So if window confirm, are you sure you want to delete this post? If user agrees, we are gonna send delete request. So I can create form right here, use form, and I think we don't need to pass anything. Do we actually need the form in order to send the delete request? I think we don't need, don't we? I can just use the router. Let me just search for something. Forms, manual visits, routing. Let's check the routing part. No, that's different thing. Okay, this is not what I want. Manual visits. Let's check this manual visits, router visit. What if we send method delete? Okay, let's try this part. We don't need form in this case, so we can just use router. We can delete this use form, and we have this router, and I can do router delete, and the route will be post destroy, right? We are just going to provide props post as an argument, and when this is going to be destroyed, what output are we returning? When it is deleted, actually, let's return back. So we are again redirected user to back, which simply should remove the post. Okay, now let's try to delete this my another post. I'm going to click on delete. It gives me this confirmation. I'm going to click OK. The post, I think, is gone. Definitely it is gone. But the scroll position again was moved up. So the second argument will be to provide preserve scroll true. Now, if I delete this test4, delete, click OK, this scroll position was preserved. And just like this, we have implemented the delete functionality for the post. I'm thinking right now maybe we need to test the update and delete functionality with another user, by another user's account, so that just make sure that we don't have bug that one user should not be able to delete someone else's post, right? But let's first focus on functionalities which is related to around the post, such as adding in attachments and improving the post creating process, rather than testing the other things, and then we can focus on those other parts. Okay, and so far this is good. We have implemented the delete post functionality. I'm going to delete this one as well. In the next part, we're going to add rich text editor functionality with the help of CK Editor during post create and update.